Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this Worship Sound Guy Mix U tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about how to EQ a snare drum. It's something we get asked about all the time and it's a great skill to have. So let's get started. We're going to listen to our full drum kit here, which was recorded live. We've got a kick, snare, 2 toms, and stereo overheads. We only used a top snare drum mic on this kit, so that's all we have to work with as we EQ. Let's take a listen to it. This is the full drum kit. The other microphones do have some processing on them, but the snare has no EQ. Let's listen. Okay, so that sounded pretty good, but there are a few things we can do that are going to make it sound a lot better. Let's go ahead and open up our EQ. Alright, so I'm using FabFilter Pro Q2, which is a fantastic EQ plugin. It's got a great analyzer on it so we can look and see what we're doing as we EQ. Let's go ahead and move the snare into solo and take a listen to just that. Okay, so going on here, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a low cut filter. I'm going to pull that up. Let's see, let's go to around 130. So all I'm doing right there is I'm eliminating any low-end stuff that shouldn't be there in the first place. As you can see on the analyzer, there's not a whole lot that's going on down below 130, and that's exactly what you'd expect. There shouldn't be anything there. So in case there is, it might be like kick drum rumble, some bleed from maybe floor tom or rack tom, anything like that that could interfere with the signal. We just want to get rid of that. So I'm going to put a low cut filter in to get rid of it. The next thing that I heard as I was listening was a buildup of some boxy frequencies in the mid-range. So let's take a listen and see if we can kind of isolate that. My guess is it's probably going to be around 500 to 600 hertz. That's a pretty common place for boxiness to build up in the snare. So let's take a listen and see if we can hear that. I'm going to boost it so you can hear it. And let's solo that band. Okay, so that's the sound we're listening for right there. It's this kind of underwater, boxy sort of sound. It's not the sound we want in our snare. I'm gonna cut that. Now I'm gonna tighten up the Q value slightly. All I'm doing there is tightening the Q value to make the cut a little bit sharper, so not quite as broad of a cut. Let's turn that on and off and see what it sounds like. Okay, I'm gonna bypass it. And engage. So as you can hear, even just taking out those frequencies brings the snare forward a lot because the good frequencies that we do want to hear are being uncovered now that we're making that cut. The next thing I'm going to do is engage a high shelf. I'm going to go maybe 4 dB. Let's do that around, I'm thinking around 8K. It's going to bring out kind of the sizzle and the snap of the drum. Let's listen to what that sounds like. I'll bypass it. It sounds kind of dull without it. This snare drum was recorded well enough, I actually could even do more on that. That's starting to sound pretty good. Let's bypass the whole EQ and hear what it sounds like. Now engage. Okay, that's already sounding a lot better. So there are a couple more things I want to do. The first one, you'll notice on the analyzer, there's this low mid bump that's happening. I actually want to accentuate that, so I'm going to boost it just a little bit. It's happening right here around 200 hertz, so I'm going to bring that up slightly. What that is the fundamental note of the drum. Every drum has a fundamental pitch that it's tuned to, and on this snare it's right around 200 hertz, which is a pretty common place. So if we boost that, it's going to give us that big impact that we're looking for. It's like the kind of sound that makes the snare just like hit you in the chest, especially over a good PA system. Let's listen to what that sounds like. That sounds awesome. Let's solo that band. It sounds kind of weird on its own, but in the mix it sounds really, really cool. Speaking of, let's take the snare out of solo so we can hear how it's sitting in the full mix. That EQ is making it feel really, really nice. Let's bypass it and then engage it and see what it sounds like. Now engage. You can hear that it brings the snare forward so much. It's really great. All right, there's one more thing I want to do, and that is just a little boost right here around 5K. I want to accentuate some of the snappiness and smackiness of the snare. I just noticed in the mix, like with the overheads in the mix, it wasn't quite cutting through as much as I wanted it to. So this is a little bit of a trick to be able to get it to cut through more. I'm gonna set my Q value around 1. It's really just kind of adding to this high shelf boost that I already have. Let's hear what that sounds like. Let's listen to that band in solo. You can hear it sort of has that clappy, snappy sort of sound to it. That's exactly what we want. Let's bypass our EQ. And engage. And that is sounding awesome. So with just a few EQ moves, we were able to take that from a boxy, lifeless snare into something that sounds really punchy and big. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be producing more videos soon.